Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here is my watch list for February 22nd. Okay, there's 17 minutes until my broker platform goes on update, so let's see if I can bang this out within 17 minutes. Futures right now at 6 o'clock, at the end of the day, we pulled up a little bit, but now has since faded off. So I think tomorrow, the overall the market it's been kind of like in a consolidating action. It's trying to get up and then it comes down, but now it's holding some solid support here at around the 2764 area. Okay, maybe pull it even down a little bit, 2763. What this translates to actually directly, I want to be looking at it fade a little bit more and test this 2760s. Okay, with that said, let's bring in the SPY real quick. Ooh. Let's bring in the SPY real quick and let's take a look at what I'm talking about right here. Okay, so as you can see, I marked off this horizontal support line here for the past few days. Past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. So we have resistance here at the 276 area. We have support, and then it gapped up a little bit and ran. And today we had like a slightly pullback day. This is just a slight pullback in my opinion from the prior run-up. Looking at the volume today, it's not as high as yesterday. It's just fading a bit. So it tells me it's kind of more like a pullback. Now, tomorrow, what you want to watch for, in my opinion, is the 276 retest. And then from there, if it rips or double bottom or triple bottom, whatever you want to call it, it could bounce from there and then we can take off. Or if it snaps, then we might get a slight little panic down to 275, right? So probably a point downwards. It wouldn't surprise me if it snaps and go to 275 first to shake out some people. All right, even 275.50 to shake out some people, all the longs, and then before it comes right back up. That's what I would do if I was a market maker, right? Okay, so let's get into the watch list real quick. First up, this is kind of like a sleeper. NKTR was not from my scan. It's actually in one of my basket stocks, okay? The stock itself is on, it's not on regular relative volume, but overall it's been looking pretty weak today, okay? Let me see. The relative volume today is only 0.91. So it traded almost 2 million shares, which is its average. What I want to talk about on NKTR is this massive dump before the year ends right here, right? And then the stock did try to rebound at the beginning of the year. And then, hold on. And then the stock did try to rebound at the beginning of the year. What caused this dump was October 8th. Around October 8th, this is where it came out with some bad news. It's basically just bad news all over the place, which caused the stock to tank, right? It's a pharmaceutical company. It's a larger pharmaceutical company, but they are pharmaceutical companies are always looking for cash, right? And their fundamentals are always, well, subpar in my opinion compared to a lot of other companies. This one is a bigger brand name, so it's not as bad, but still it's pretty iffy in my opinion. NKTR develops a cancer drug, all right? And but aside from the fundamentals here, looking at this chart, just on the daily chart, here's a double top real quick, right? Here and here, which caused the stock to come down. And today it had a pretty weak day. It's what I want to talk about is that it's coming into a key support area here of the $40 mark, key psychological number of 40. Now, the reason why I say this is a sleeper is because I'm looking at the beginning of the year and how the stock got bought up. And even right here in January 9th and 10th, 11th, 14th and 11th. So all these days, this is where people bought, right? So we're coming into the line in the sand for the buyers here, for the long-term investors. Okay, now I suspect that there are some stop losses down here. If the stock snaps to 40, it might trigger some stop loss. I think the stop losses people have placed under around the 39.50s area. So when the stock, if the stock snaps to 40s, I believe some short-term longs will, or the weak hands will get stopped out and then causing a little trickle down. And then eventually if 39.50 snaps, then all hell breaks loose and the stop loss panic comes and happen, and then people will start selling. The first support, the next nearest support we have is this 38.75 area. So what I'm looking for is that snap with a 40, right? Perhaps shorting a breakdown is a little bit more dangerous. So, I mean, today it faded all day. I'm pretty sure some or a lot of short sellers have piled in here, at least the short-term short sellers, right? So tomorrow, I think at the open, they're going to cover a little bit, cause the stock to pop. We have pretty concise resistance here at the 41, but near term, we have tried late day here, which is the 40-60 area here. This is also the 200 SMA on the intraday chart. And as you can see, it held support a few times today during lunch, and it tried to retest. It snapped to try to retest and failed. So I'll be looking for 40-60 and the 41 area. A pop and drop thesis is what I'm looking for. Anticipating the snap of 40 would cause stop losses to trigger off and then a sell off. That's my plan on NKTR. Wow, that actually took a while. Next up, CAR. CAR had positive earnings results today with revenue and guidance beat. Hence, the stock ran up today. Now, I want to pull in my P&L today. I did play CAR today. As you can see, I shorted it and I longed it. I kind of failed on the long side, but I did record my trading live this morning. So if you guys want to see that live recording, make sure you hit that like button and in the comment below, just write, I want to see it. All right. If I get 20 of these comments, I will post that live recording out for you guys to the public. Okay. So CAR, Avis Budget Group. Basically, this stock is pretty overextended right now. Today I was actually trading it all day and watching it all day, and I see this high of day at 34.75. Okay, that's where it hit the high today and dropped. I also see the next level of resistance at 35, which is a key psychological whole number. Now scrolling back a little bit, we have aside from that, we also have 35.50. Okay, right there, this area, 35.50, and as well as 36 from August 8th. So I'm going to mark off 36 right there. I'm going to zoom into August 8th, where you will see massive volume on this day. 36 is the opening price. And this to me is also a significant resistance area. Because the stock is so overextended, I'll be looking for a sell-off tomorrow or people taking profits, right? So what I want to see is a pop into the high of days or any of these resistance areas, a lot of resistance areas, and then a fail from there. As far as support goes, today while I was watching it, I saw it hold 34. I actually took this short from this area and brought it right back down. I couldn't hit my target of 34. It bounced right off 34.10 and then came back up to stop me out. But I was away out at lunch, so I wasn't able to take my profits here, and I stopped out at a scratch trade. So 34 is key support, as well as 33.50 was what I was watching today. That reacted very well, and then if that snaps, we are getting back down to 33, which is the high of pre-market or after hours yesterday. Okay, and this is a very key support level and some target areas if you're short. Okay, so that's CAR. Next up, we have ATVI Activision. I shorted this stock. This was on my watch list last night, but I didn't play it. I was preoccupied with CAR, but I did short this today, late day. I shorted it right here around this area as it snapped to 42, and I got it all the way down here. So I did ride this move all the way down from this area to the lows. Okay. With that said, I mean, let's get into ATVI. Tomorrow, looking at the daily chart, I mean, to me it looks pretty simple, right? I see support right here at the closing price of this green candle. Okay, this is the 41.67 exact. Yeah, the closing price. Yeah, 41.67. Okay, which the stock hit today and bounced off from. All right, this was actually exactly my target. And then I'm going to give it a little bit more of a wiggle room for support as well at 41.50s, which is a key half number area. So we have a very concise support area right here. The stock has sold off 2 days in a row, and it has filled its gap. I think tomorrow we might get a small little bounce day. I mean, we see this gap right here. No, this gap I'm talking about. So the stock has filled this gap. So tomorrow, I think we might see a bounce day. I want to see the test of the support tomorrow for a double bottom and then come back up. And my target on the long side would be 42.50, which is the low of this day as well as the low of yesterday. So 42.50 plays like a very concise resistance area. I want to take a look at this closing price right here. 42.75. So this could also be a resistance area as well. So we know how to play this. The stock is looking kind of weak. I'm looking for a dip out the gates to hold support, come back up for the long, and then perhaps bring it back down. If it does get back up here, bring it back down, right? So play this range for tomorrow. ATVI. ROKU had earnings after hours, at positive earnings, revenue beat, and strong guidance. This is the fourth quarter in a row that ROKU has surprise beat the street's analysis and their consensus, okay? Which tells me something. I mean, I was reading a news article, and they are saying it's a surprise beat, the keyword being surprise, for being a fourth quarter in a row. So that to me tells me that overall the street are they are not expecting too much of ROKU. They think this thing is a little bit overpriced, and hence the surprises after surprises after surprises. Okay, with that said, I think people who read this article can think two ways. One, they either trust the article and they are going to think this stock is overpriced, and a lot of shorts will pile in. That kind of explains why this stock always has a constant short interest of 40 to 50+%, right? Which on the upside, if this thing squeezes, it squeezes really hard. Okay, so tomorrow, because it's such a positive catalyst, I do expect more of a rip, but I want to see a dip first to hold some sort of support. So let's mark off some support here. On the 5-minute chart, we see 52.75 area right here. This was a key resistance, now has broken out and tested after hours. So it's now support 52.75. And I'm going to also use the whole number of 53 as well. Now, after hours, it broke out even more. And we have the 50 EMA here on the 5-minute chart at 53.50. Coincidentally, a $0.50 mark, and right now we're sitting a little bit above 54, right? So out the gates, I'm going to expect a dip, watching for these levels to hold, most likely the 52.75 in my opinion, and then rip back up. For the past few days, I did watch the stock on the side, so I do know the resistance area is at 54.50 and 55 as well. All right, now if I zoom out a bit, you'll understand. See, it's right here, And then if 55 breaks out, we have the next resistance at 56 as well as 59. So here is the 56 area on the daily chart. Okay, so it's basically this gap fill right here. And then the 59 is basically, I think, the top of this candle, right? Yeah, the top of this green candle. Okay, so a lot of support, a lot of resistance areas that you can mark off. Pretty easy play, in my opinion. Just watch for these areas to either reject or bounce, right? So that's ROKU. Next up, we have TTD. Wow, my time's cutting short. Okay, TTD had earnings after hours. Basically, it's a revenue beat as well as a guidance beat. Okay, what's interesting to me right now? There's actually a few things. First of all, the stock is on once again 52-week highs. Okay, which makes it very, very dangerous to short because it's full of surprises right now. Positive catalyst, 52-week highs. This is gonna get investors all hyped up. However, yesterday it tanked hard because Stifel came out with a downgrade saying that the stock is overpriced and is a little bit ahead of itself. Now, some could say that Stifel wants to buy it cheaper. Okay, I mean, even the news article says that Stifel remains bullish on the stock if the stock comes back down a little bit in price. So I think they came out with that news article to try to get in, and I think they know about the earnings. They had early inside information or something, and they were manipulating the stock to come back down. I mean, that's just a theory. Don't quote me on it, but that's very interesting to me. Right now, I do see we have key resistance at a whole number of 168 as well as 170, right? With the stock breaking out to 52-week highs, if 168 breaks out, this is going to be the next magnet area, in my opinion. However, we are very overextended. We do have some buying action here. I am expecting a dip out the gates to hold some sort of support before it ripped, kind of like what CAR did today, right? So I'll go back to the chart on CAR later, but let's talk about some support areas, okay? Right here on this green candle's close, 161.70. We'll call it 161.50s. All right, so the $half mark, or what, 160, yeah, 161.50s. So the $half mark right here. Well, okay, and then if I zoom out a little bit, you'll see it's actually the exact high of its prior 52-week high. All right, okay, so this could be a support area, and then we have coming back down a little bit. Well, let's keep going up. Let's take a look at the high of this candle. This is 165.70. So I will mark that off as an area of support now because it's prior resistance. The stock is above it. Okay, so we have two key areas of support. On the intraday chart, though, we do see some areas here. So I want to talk about 164, which is the 50 EMA on the 5-minute chart. This here, the 163 as well, is where the stock bounced off of after hours. Okay, so let's take a look here. I don't think it works here on, it's basically the wicks. So I don't think it works here on the intraday. No, sorry, on the daily chart. So I will mark this off perhaps a different color, signifying that it is interim support instead of daily chart support, in my opinion. So I'll be watching for these support to hold and a bounce and a rip. If it snaps, though, I mean, if this snaps, this 163, we are coming down to first 160 and then right about here, the 159 area. I don't know. It's a very positive earnings catalyst, right? It seems to me that Stifel if they haven't bought already at any dip Stifle wants to buy. We have the 200 SMA here at the 160, right? Also a very key mark here. I think it topped out here. Yeah, it topped out after a few pushes after hours at 160. So now becomes a key support. So going to be watching out for that. That's basically it for my watch list. I did want to go over one more ticker, which is FSLR. However, I am past the time period. I can't change any more charts because the broker is officially on update. If I type in a new ticker, the chart is just simply going to go blank. Perhaps I'll verbal my notes here on FSLR. It's basically a revenue miss and a guidance reaffirm. Reaffirming the guidance basically is people telling, is the company trying to not spook the investors and trying to hold up the selling, right? It's trading a little bit under the 50 area right now, so I want to see a pop and drop on that thesis. It would pop to the 50 resistance and then drop from there, and my target would be 48.75, which is on the daily chart, the next support area. The average true range for FSLR is 1.52, so from the $50 mark all the way down to 48.50, 48.75. That's exactly $1.50 of the average true range. So anyways, that's my watch list this evening. And if you like it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, share the watch list. Also, if you want to see my live recording today of car, how I traded car this morning, make sure in the comment section type, I want to see it. All right, I want to see 20 of those comments, and then I'll load that video publicly. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Ciao.